Hi, everyone, and welcome to KREM 2 News at Noon. I'm Laura Papetti. Appreciate you being with us today. Jen York has the day off. She'll be back with us next week. We are tracking some new developments in a story that we first brought to you yesterday. Police have identified the suspect in a bomb threat at the Spokane County Democrats headquarters. This is video from the scene. Peter Yeager faces a first-degree arson charge and is expected to appear in court today. His address is listed in Coulee City. Now, yesterday, the suspect brought a backpack with what appeared to be wires hanging from it to the Teamsters building on Division Street. He allegedly then threatened to blow up the building multiple times. Spokane police said no explosive device was actually found, but the man did set a fire. No one was hurt. Spokane County Democrats chair told us she believes the attack was politically motivated.
Walked in. He went directly to the Democrats' office and forced his way in to the office. And then he had a manifesto as well that he gave to one of our volunteers, both of our volunteers.
And we will certainly continue to track the very latest developments in this story on KREM 2 News and always, of course, on KREM.com and the KREM 2 mobile app. And we have some really sad news coming in new at the noon hour today. The Spokane community is mourning the loss of a prominent media professional after a battle with COVID-19. Emily Bozzi was the co-founder and publisher of Spokane Coeur d'Alene Living magazine. The magazine announced her passing in a Facebook post today. Her husband and fellow publisher, Vincent Bozzi, is hospitalized as he recovers from coronavirus. The two have a son together. The magazine is asking for prayers for both Vincent and their son Jordan as they grieve Emily's sudden and devastating loss, and as Vincent continues to recover. And we're also tracking a developing story. An elderly woman is dead after a mobile home fire. This is in Spokane Valley. Happened at Dishman-Micah Road in South Nina Circle. Spokane Valley firefighters say the blaze began just before 6 o'clock this morning. A person who saw flames as they were driving by the home called 911. None of the firefighters who responded were injured. Investigators are still working to determine the cause of that fire. Well, today is a landmark day in our country in the battle against COVID-19. An FDA advisory panel will vote today on whether to recommend emergency use authorization for Pfizer's vaccine. It's one of the biggest public health projects in U.S. history, and the advisory committee says they are taking this process very, very seriously.
We're using the same standards that we would for how well the vaccine protects. The only thing that's different is that we're moving a little faster because of the raging outbreak.
The FDA plans to move quickly to make the vaccine available to the public. Nearly 3 million doses could be shipped out sometime tomorrow. And Washington State expecting to receive enough doses of the COVID-19 vaccine for about 400,000 people by the end of this month. The state will get about 62,400 doses of Pfizer's vaccine by next Tuesday, and we're told a total of 222,000 doses by the end of December. Washington is also expected to receive about 180,000 doses of the Moderna vaccine by the end of the month. The first groups to receive the COVID-19 vaccine in Washington state will be the high-risk healthcare workers and people in long-term care facilities. There is a new report that's coming from the White House that says vaccines will not curb COVID-19 spread in the U.S. until late spring. The report states that 100 million people need to have the vaccine before it can substantially reduce COVID-19 spread, hospitalizations, or deaths. Even then, White House officials say large-scale benefits will only come after months of immunization, which means social distancing measures and masks will be needed until most people have the vaccine. Well, rising coronavirus cases have shut down gyms all across the state. Governor Inslee announced that would be the case at least until January 4th. As businesses shut their doors, a recent loophole in the fitness community may be the answer to remaining open, at least for some. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones explains.
Gyms are one of many businesses that have changed due to the pandemic. Under Washington's current protocols, they're not allowed to be open.
But for us here as an organization, we don't believe in standing still, and we understand the importance of what we provide for our community here locally.
With restrictions still in place, some are figuring out a way around guidelines. According to the governor's office, all fitness indoor facilities are off limits, That means any form of training inside of a building is no longer possible at the moment.
The Wellness Center at North Park tell me they've completely changed how they run their business. Instead of shutting their doors, they believe what they do is a part of the solution for overcoming problems from this pandemic.
Shortly after new protocols began, the ownership group met to discuss what their next move would be. The collective decision was transforming into a wellness center.
And it's not just a fitness and exercise facility, it's a one-stop shop for all things wellness. So when we're talking wellness, we're talking about mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, social.
The group says they've hired new staff to assist with their mission of staying open. Physical, massage, and stretch therapists have all been brought in recently.
And so I think getting out and being able to take care of your health is super important.
Governor Inslee's staff has said they're aware of rebrands happening throughout the state. Each situation is different, but they'll monitor whether a business is breaking the law or abiding by current protocols. Gyms that have made the switch must showcase proper adjustments and prove their compliance with the state.
I would say for the most part, our members have been very gracious in helping us to comply to a lot of those things.
The Wellness Center at North Park will stay in tune with changing guidelines. They told me they're committed to adapt and overcome. From Spokane, Brandon T. Jones, Crim 2 News.
And we did reach out to the governor's office to ask what consequences a gym could face for reopening, say, as a wellness center. They told us it depends on the violation and the enforcement mechanism that was used. And so they will continue, they said, to monitor certain situations. 12:07 right now, turning our attention to the forecast. More winter weather is on the way just in time for the weekend. So let's get in on the very latest news on weather with Jeremy. Hi.
Oh, hey, Laura. And I don't know about you, but I'm kind of ready for some snow.
Me too.
It's been cold. Why not have the snow? So the forecast says you get it. As we head into the day tomorrow, it's going to look much different than it does today. We've got the cloud cover overhead, and that's kind of that pesky cloud cover that takes a while to leave. I saw the sun peek out a little bit here on South Hill, but that was about it early on this morning. It's a low-hanging stratus deck, also known as fog in a few locations. Walla Walla seeing that as freezing fog this morning. Visibility is improving drastically out at Spokane International Airport as temperatures climb. We're up to 35 degrees already, but with this cloud cover sticking around, we're going to be hard pressed to squeeze a few more degrees out of the day, especially because we're about at peak heating here as we head into the next couple of hours. I don't need to remind you, sunset 3:57 tonight, so by the time the sun gets a little lower, it quits offering some of that heat. So temperatures will start to drop. And that sets the stage for this. Tomorrow morning about 6 o'clock, that snow works its way into Spokane. 8:30, it'll be coming down at its heaviest. Yeah, that's right, just in time for your morning commute. Winds down by about noon and moves into North Idaho. Now, there are some forecast models that suggest we might get a little more later on, but for now, just know this. Temps in the upper 30s today. We'll break down more of that snowfall tomorrow.
All right, my friend, thank you. 12:08 right now. History will be made by a Spokane native coming up in 2024. Gonzaga Prep alum Ann McLean is one of 18 astronauts selected to train for an upcoming trip to the moon. It is a pretty amazing honor. The Lunar Exploration Program will launch multiple missions as soon as potentially 2021, and eventually will land the next man and potentially the first woman to step foot on the moon. And that's coming up in 2024.
When I was a little girl growing up in Spokane, Washington, becoming an astronaut, like nobody did that. There was nobody that I could look to and say, that person walked the path that I'm about to go walk.
Yeah, amazing. All right, so just last year, McLean spent 204 days aboard the International Space Station, and during her time there, she went on spacewalks and did research, and again, huge honor to be included in this next wave of missions. So congratulations to her.